She said she'd rather die than date a broke guy, right after I paid for her shopping spree. Then she looked at me and smirked. But you're the exception, for now. I didn't say a word, just called my bank, canceled every charge, and took back the bags while she was in the shower. 3 weeks later, she posted, "Never trust a broke man," while wearing a hoodie she forgot was mine. I always believed in seeing the best in people. That belief cost me $4,800 and 9 months of my life, but taught me one of the most valuable lessons about self-respect. I met Amanda at a friend's barbecue last summer. She was vibrant, quick-witted, and seemed genuinely interested in my work as an industrial safety consultant. We exchanged numbers, and within a week, we were dating. The relationship started like most: dinners, movies, getting to know each other. Amanda worked as a leasing agent for luxury apartments downtown, a job that kept her immersed in a world of wealth and status. I made good money, lived comfortably in a modest condo I'd purchased 3 years earlier, and had a solid savings plan. Nothing extravagant, but I was proud of my financial stability at 32. Looking back, there were warning signs from the beginning. Amanda would forget her wallet on dates. She'd send me links to expensive gifts she liked. She'd make comments about her ex's beach house or her friend's boyfriend who took her to Paris just because. But between these moments, she was affectionate, supportive, and fun to be around. 6 months in, Amanda's lease was ending. Her roommate was moving in with her boyfriend, and Amanda suggested she move in with me temporarily while looking for a new place. It made sense at the time. We were spending most nights together anyway, and my place was closer to her work. I agreed, and she moved in the following weekend. That's when things began to shift. Her temporary stay stretched from weeks to months. Her contributions to household expenses were inconsistent at best. She'd buy groceries occasionally or pick up dinner. But whenever I brought up splitting bills more formally, there was always an excuse. Commission was low this month. She had an unexpected car repair. She needed to buy new work clothes. Then came the day that changed everything. Amanda had been talking about her upcoming birthday for weeks, dropping hints about what she wanted. I'd already ordered a pair of earrings I knew she'd like, not cheap but within my budget at $350. The Saturday before her birthday, she suggested we go shopping, just to look around. We ended up at an upscale outdoor mall, the kind with valet parking and no price tags in the windows. As we walked from store to store, Amanda's definition of looking turned into a full-blown shopping spree. At each store, she'd select items and hand them to me with a casual, "This one too," or "I need this for work." I found myself standing at register after register, watching the charges pile up. A $900 handbag, a $600 pair of shoes, designer jeans, a dress for a work event. By the 5th store, I'd spent close to $4,800, not including the earrings I'd already bought. As we left the last store, loaded with bags, Amanda spotted a former coworker and her boyfriend. They chatted briefly, and the topic turned to someone they mutually knew. "Can you believe Amber is dating that guy from the maintenance staff?" the coworker said, lowering her voice. Amanda laughed, not her usual laugh, but something harder, more performative. "I'd rather die than date a broke guy," she declared loudly. Couldn't imagine it. Her coworker glanced at me, then at the shopping bags I was carrying, a flicker of confusion crossing her face. When they walked away, I stood there, processing what I'd just heard. Amanda must have noticed my expression, because she rolled her eyes and smirked. "But you're the exception, for now," she said, as if this was supposed to make me feel better. In that moment, everything crystallized. The forgotten wallets, the constant hints about expensive gifts, the reluctance to contribute to our shared expenses. I wasn't a partner to her. I was an ATM with a pulse, an exception to her rule against dating broke guys, a temporary solution until someone with more money came along. I didn't argue, didn't make a scene, just nodded and suggested we head home. During the drive back, Amanda scrolled through her phone, showing me pictures of herself in the new clothes, planning outfits for the week. I responded with appropriate noises of interest while my mind raced, calculating my next steps. When we got home, Amanda announced she was going to take a long shower to wash off the mall. The moment the bathroom door closed and I heard the water running, I took action. I gathered all the shopping bags and removed the items, carefully folding everything back exactly as it had been packaged. I placed them in my car, along with all the receipts, which thankfully showed my name and signature. The clothing and accessories were all unworn with tags still attached. The handbag still had its protective wrapping. Everything was in perfect condition for returns. By the time Amanda emerged from her 45-minute shower, the bags were gone from our living room. She noticed immediately. Where's my stuff? She asked, looking around. Did you put it in the bedroom? No, I said calmly. I'm returning everything tomorrow. Her face went through a series of expressions: confusion, disbelief, anger. You can't do that, she sputtered. Those are my things. You bought them for me. Actually, I can, I replied. The receipts show I made the purchases. Nothing's been used, and nothing has been gifted to you yet. They're still legally mine. Why would you do this? She demanded, voice rising. Is this because of what I said to Lisa? That was just talk. It's because I'm not your exception, I said. I'm not your temporary ATM until something better comes along, and I'm definitely not interested in being with someone who'd rather die than date someone like me. What followed was a meltdown of epic proportions. Tears, accusations, attempts to manipulate me by bringing up past gifts, promises to change. When none of that worked, she switched to threats about telling people I was abusive, that I'd stolen from her, that I'd tricked her into moving in. I remained calm, took out my phone, and pressed record. Please repeat what you just said, I requested. She stared at the phone, then at me, suddenly silent. I think it would be best if we ended this relationship, I said. Since you've been living here for several months, legally I need to give you proper notice. You have 30 days to find a new place. 30 days? That's it? She demanded. That's the legal requirement in this state for someone in your situation, I replied. I've documented that I've provided this notice today. I'll email you a copy for your records. She stormed into the bedroom, slammed the door, and I could hear her making frantic phone calls. I spent the night on the couch, half expecting her to destroy my things out of spite, but the night passed without incident. The next morning, I went to each store and returned every item. The returns went smoothly. Everything was in perfect condition, with tags attached, and I had all the receipts. Several of the salespeople remembered me from the day before, and while they didn't say anything directly, their knowing looks suggested this wasn't the first time they'd seen this scenario play out. When I got home, Amanda had packed a small bag and was waiting by the door. I'm staying with Lisa until I figure things out, she informed me coolly. I'll be back for the rest of my stuff before the 30 days are up. That works for me, I replied. Just let me know when you're coming so I can make sure I'm home. Why? Don't you trust me? She asked sarcastically. No, I said simply, I don't. Over the next 2 weeks, Amanda made several trips to the apartment, each time taking more of her belongings. I made sure to be present each time, working from home on those days. Not only was I protecting my property, but I was also documenting what she took to avoid any future claims. By the end of the 3rd week, well before the 30-day deadline, she had moved out completely. I waited until she texted confirmation that she had everything she wanted before changing the locks, a standard precaution after any breakup. On her last visit, as she was preparing to leave, she noticed the small gift wrap box on the counter. What's that? She asked, unable to hide her curiosity. The earrings I bought for your birthday before all this happened, I said. They're still yours if you want them. She hesitated, then took the box. This doesn't change anything, she said. You still betrayed me. I had to laugh at that. Enjoy the earrings, Amanda. Consider them a parting gift, the exception to my rule about no longer supporting you. She left without another word, leaving her key on the counter as requested. For the next few weeks, I focused on readjusting to life on my own. I expected to hear from Amanda again, an angry text, a demand for money, something, but there was silence. I figured she'd moved on to her next target, and I was fine with that. Then, 3 weeks after she moved out, a mutual friend sent me a screenshot of Amanda's Instagram post. It showed her sitting in what looked like a new apartment, wearing an oversized navy blue hoodie from my alma mater. The caption read, "Never trust a broke man. They'll take back everything they ever gave you. Lesson learned, know your worth." I had to laugh. The hoodie she was wearing, the one item she was using to post about broke men taking things back, was mine. She'd taken to wearing it around the apartment and had apparently packed it with her things. It was a $65 item I'd forgotten about entirely. The irony was almost too perfect. Here she was, still wearing my clothes while complaining about me taking back extravagant gifts I'd never actually given. I didn't respond to the post or ask for the hoodie back. Some lessons cost more than $65 to learn, and I'd already paid far more than that for mine. The story could have ended there, a simple tale of entitlement and its consequences. But life has a way of providing epilogues. 2 months later, I was having dinner with a client when I overheard a familiar voice at a nearby table. It was Lisa, Amanda's former coworker, speaking loudly to someone I couldn't see. "Can you believe Amanda got fired?" Apparently, she was showing luxury apartments, but giving her friends unauthorized access after hours. They'd have parties in vacant units. I shouldn't have been surprised. The pattern was clear: using other people's resources for personal gain, believing herself entitled to whatever she wanted. I finished my dinner without making my presence known. Their conversation wasn't my business anymore, and neither was Amanda's life. 6 months have passed since then. I've dated casually but haven't rushed into another relationship. The experience left me more cautious but not bitter. I still believe in seeing the best in people, but now I believe more in paying attention when they show you who they really are. Last week, I was shopping for a new winter coat when a sales associate approached me. It took me a moment to recognize her. Lisa, looking very different in a professional retail setting rather than designer clothes. "I thought that was you," she said, somewhat awkwardly. "I just wanted to say, I'm sorry about how things went down with Amanda. We're not friends anymore. I didn't realize what kind of person she was until after, well, everything." I assured her there were no hard feelings. As she helped me find a coat, she mentioned that Amanda had moved to another state, claiming our city was full of losers. I wished her well and meant it. Some people never learn their lessons, but that's not my problem anymore. As for the infamous hoodie, I hope it keeps her warm. Sometimes the price of finding out who someone really is turns out to be a bargain, even at $4,800. I got my money back, but more importantly, I got my self-respect back, something no amount of designer goods could ever replace. Update. Thanks for all the supportive comments. Some asked about legal details. I consulted with a friend who practices tenant law to make sure I was giving proper notice according to our state laws. Since she had established residency by living with me for months, I needed to provide the full 30-day notice even though she chose to leave earlier. Others have asked if I ever got the earrings back. No. And I don't care. $350 was a small price to pay for the clarity I gained.